Hi, collective. I'm ancient. Let's go ahead and get into these messages. I've been getting a lot of channeled messages lately. The Page of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, a message coming in, two messages coming in. Could be from an earth sign or a fire sign, but doesn't matter the sign. We have the Page of Wands and then we have the Six of Pentacles. Okay, so this could be two people. It could be more than two people, but it could be one person getting ready to, they really want to get to know you with the Six of Pentacles. Maybe you two've been messaging back and forth, but they want to maybe ask you out on a physical date. Or this person could want to pick your brain. If it's not romantic, they could want to pick your brain. Both of you could um enjoy the same things. The Six of Pentacles can also represent compatibility. So some of you could be compatible with this person in terms of you do the same thing. Maybe you have the same type of career, you love the same hobbies. There's something about you two are very similar with the Six of Pentacles if it's not romantic. Now, if for some of you, it could be where this person actually wants to build a friendship with you, they want to meet you. Tell me about the Six of Pentacles. Five of Cups. Now that's interesting. Why is the Five of Cups here? Seven of Cups. Someone feel like they made a mistake. Um, this could be brief, like brief guilt. I don't know if maybe they felt like they shouldn't have asked you something or they asked you the wrong question. Tell me about the seven. We have Temperance. This could also be somebody that was very direct as well with their communication. But with the Seven of Cups and Temperance, it feels like this person wants to make things right. This doesn't have to be romantic. They want to fix things. They want to make it right. They want to explain themselves. Tell me about Temperance. We have Justice. And then we have the Eight of Wands. So we have Sagittarius, Libra energy here. This person might feel like they need to explain themselves. Justice is the card of making things right. They need to explain themselves. Talking about Justice, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune here with the Eight of Wands. Somebody wants to revisit a conversation that they had with you. Now, again, this could be platonic or it could be romantic. But somebody wants to revisit a conversation because it was something within that conversation. Maybe they felt like, maybe, okay, if this is romantic, maybe the conversation that you had with this person, they made you feel like an option. Or maybe they presented themselves as a player. Maybe they presented themselves as someone who has like a lot of people around them, but it just didn't feel right for you. So you didn't entertain it. You walked away from this person, but something didn't feel right. Maybe you even notice that this person has a lot of people on their social media. There's a lot of people that's vying for their attention. So you're someone that was like, nah, I don't think so. Maybe this person gave off the impression that they have a lot of options, and they could, but that's not what they wanted you to see. But as this person looks at things from a different perspective, they realize what it looked like, what it sounded like if this was romantic. If it's not romantic, this could be a friend or someone that is getting to know you, and maybe they said the wrong thing. I don't know, something, they said the wrong thing. Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Emperor. So this person feels like, okay, if this is romantic, they're going to come back around and be very serious with their intentions because they want you to understand that they were not trying to play with you, or they don't see you as, there might be a lot of women around them or men around them, but they actually are interested in you and they want to get to know you like seriously. They want to seriously get to know you. But it just feels like there was something that you saw. I just don't think that you wanted to even start anything with this person because, okay, It feels like maybe this is someone that gets a lot of attention already, and you're just like, no, I don't think so, because just I'm not even gonna try to figure out if you're a player. I'm not even gonna try to figure out if you're serious about me. I don't like how this looks. It feels like that. And so you just detached yourself away from it. You went into the Queen of Swords energy, which is very smart. A lot of you have mastered that, or you're in the energy of mastering the King and Queen of Swords, because I've always said, especially on my channel, I always say the King and Queen of Swords is the hardest energies to master, because it requires you to be honest with yourself first before you're honest with other people. The King and Queen of Swords energy requires you to make decisions that are not based off of emotions or insecurities, is based off of logic, right? Even if you feel like, okay, if I'm not with this person, I'm going to be alone. But that's illogical. That doesn't mean you're going to be alone. But people will make excuses to stay in unhealthy connections, right? Instead of just facing the facts. The King and Queen of Swords are factual people. They're logical. They're like, okay, this isn't right. This doesn't make sense. I'm not feeling this. Whereas someone in their emotional body would ignore all the red flags. They'll ignore all the red flags and be in their emotions because it feels good, or they really want the man, they really want the woman, but they get with the person, and everything that their gut was telling them what would happen happens, and then they're mad at the person for the person just being who they were from the beginning. But when you're in that King and Queen of Swords energy, it gives you the power to see the truth, because it's the sword of truth. Regardless of how you feel about that person, regardless of how they look, regardless of how much money they have, regardless of anything, even if you're physically attracted to them like crazy, even if there's a passion there, you quickly pick up the sword and say, wait a minute, let's stick to the facts. That didn't, like, let's revisit this let's revisit this conversation. Oh my god, I couldn't get that out. Let's revisit this conversation, because that didn't make sense to me. That's what the King and Queen of Swords, and the King and Queen of Swords also are not afraid of asking questions, because the King and Queen of Swords feels like, okay, if I can't ask you a question and you get defensive, that lets me know you're hiding something. So I don't even want to go there. So the King, Queen of Swords will cut you off. So that's what this feels like. It feels like with you embodied that energy so intently and intensely that you were able to cut this person off quick. You probably talked to them one day, a couple of hours, but you cut them off quick because you're like, yeah, that doesn't look right to me. So I'm not even going to worry about it. Instead of you putting energy and effort and investing in something that already didn't look right to you, you just decided to cut them off. And I feel like, though, this emperor, perhaps they realize that, because the emperor is the full embodiment of all the elements. So that means that this emperor is also a king of swords. So that's a clear energy that this person may be recognizing that within you. They may recognize that you quickly cut them off. And perhaps they're able to put themselves in your shoes if this is a high level emperor. All right, tell me more. We have the 10 of Cups. And then we have the Queen of Cups. And then we have the King of Wands. Now, I don't know. This could be this emperor coming back around. It feels, for some of you, it could be an apology. Could be. Or it could be this person showing up differently towards you. Okay. And again, if this isn't romantic, still, it's somebody taking responsibility with the emperor, accountability for their words, for their inactions, or not standing on business. Realizing that if they want you to take them seriously, it requires them to put themselves in a certain position or light for you to take them seriously. Does that make sense? It would be like, say if this is romantic, it would be like somebody wanting a committed relationship. They want an exclusive, monogamous, committed relationship, but they flirt with everybody. And you're like, are you, and they're like, you're like, are you flirting with everybody? Because you seem to flirt with me too. So is this the same energy you give to everybody? It would create mixed feelings, mixed emotions. I'm not saying that's what happened. I just had to use that as an example of probably what went down. This person gave you mixed feelings, mixed emotions, but you didn't stay in the energy for too long because you're in that King and Queen of Swords energy. Like I stated, you're in that King and Queen of Swords energy. Cut people off, and it doesn't mean you have to be mean. Being honest is not mean. It's just people don't like the truth. And unfortunately we live in a society where everything is fake. A lot of things are fake and phony, and so people are not used to hearing the truth, especially if they're not raised that way, if they did not come from an environment where their parents are honest, where they were not raised to be honest, to be forthcoming, to be transparent. It is truly hard for people to become adults and also be honest, and just be honest about everything, because being honest also requires vulnerability with yourself. So I love to talk about the King Queen of Swords. You guys know that. For those of you that have been listening to me for some years now, you know that that's one of my favorite energies, because it is just difficult for people to be honest. And if they are honest, they will keep themselves out of a lot of pain and suffering and situations. And yeah, not to say you're perfect, because sometimes you don't see things. Sometimes you make mistakes and you don't see things. You can master the King and Queen of Swords and still make mistakes. That's not what I'm saying. But a lot of the situations, if you reflect and be honest with yourself, if you reflect on your past, there's a lot of situations where you're like, you know what? There were red flags and I ignored them. Just being honest. You're like, if I paid attention to the red flags, if I followed my intuition, I would have never got with him. I would have never got with her. It happens, you guys. So I'm not saying it from a place of judgment. I'm just saying that it is an energy that people should want to master. It's not about being a Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. It's about wanting to master that sword energy, the sword of truth. Because it will protect you and save you from a lot of painful lessons in every area of your life, not just romantic, but with family, with friends, with work. It will. And you guys know that to be true. That's why parents will tell their children, don't lie. So it's the same thing when you become an adult. That's why parents be like, don't lie to me. Don't ever lie to me. Don't ever, it's so, people love, especially when you work with someone who has integrity, because in order to have integrity, you have to be an honest person. You can't have integrity and be dishonest. Those they don't work together. You have to be honest, and therefore you are someone with integrity. So imagine when you work in a company or you have a manager, you may not get along with them, you may not agree with everything, but you know that they have integrity, versus working with someone who you don't agree with, you don't get along with them, and you know that they are a known liar. You understand? When people have integrity, people want to be around you. They want to work for you. They want to be your friend. They want to be in relationships. They want to have you around them. Integrity is huge, because not a lot of people have it in 2026. Unfortunately, a lot of people do not have integrity. They'll sell out their family, their friends, their children, their morals, their values. Integrity is hard to come by. And so for me, if you don't have integrity, I question who you are as a man, as a woman. I just question who you are. All right. I know some of y'all like ancients on a roll today. Listen, these messages needed to come out. So we have the Four of Swords here. We have the Emperor. This Emperor is thinking. Okay, so what is this Emperor thinking about? Ace of Pentacles, the offer. So how they're going to get back in your good graces, or how they're going to offer this Ace of Pentacles. Now, like I said, this does not have to be romantic. The offer could be maybe a business idea, some sort of venture, and something happened and you fell off, they fell off, and now this person wants to bring the idea back up. But it's something solid here with this Ace of Pentacles. Tell me more. The Knight of Swords. This person is waiting for something, waiting for time to pass, waiting for you not to be irritated, or maybe waiting for them not to be irritated. Maybe they thought you were mad at them. You're not anymore. Maybe you were never upset. But like, if this is about a connection, this person could be waiting for the right time to come in with this message, or waiting for time to pass, just in case they thought that you were a bit irritated with them, which you're not. That's what this feels like. Tell me about this. Or maybe they needed to calm down. Because I'm getting like an ego bruise. Yeah. See the Devil. Seven of Pentacles and the Devil. This person, if this is romantic, there's some sort of obsession here. This is a weird obsession. I'm going to do a part 2, and this will be in my members only section, because I want to look into this Seven of Pentacles and the Devil energy here. All right, I'll see you guys over there. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.